Hey everyone, Gabrielle here from AI Coach Box, and I wanted to share an update in how easy it is today to build client-facing AI tools for your coaching business. Now, not that long ago, I was teaching inside my community, Futureproof. I was teaching how to build custom GPTs so that you have this way to, give your clients 24/7 support, trained on your IP, kind of an extension of your whatever you help your clients with, an extension of you. And I still have that training in there, and I think I'm going to keep it because I think it's a great gateway entry into using AI as a client-facing tool because it's super easy to build a custom GPT. And the reason being is OpenAI makes it really easy, right? Because their model's already trained. So you might have heard of things like Delphi AI or AI Coach Box, which is different than Coach Box, or different tools that claim to allow you to house a custom GPT behind a paywall that you can make your own custom GPT and not have to use it inside ChatGPT. First off, I don't care who told you that, whether they're trying to sell you some software or they're just misinformed. That is simply not the case. It is impossible to embed a custom GPT from OpenAI outside of the ChatGPT interface. So you can train AI on whatever you want and create this chatbot custom GPT like experience, but it is not the same thing. That is when you're training AI and you're using an API for, let's say, any LLM model you want, but let's say ChatGPT 5.2. You're using the API to train the model. Now, the difference is, what's great about that is you can pull it outside of the ChatGPT interface and you can house it anywhere you want and you can put paywalls around it. But it's a little bit, in the past, I will say, it has been a little bit more technical to build because it typically requires an outside workflow like N8N or Make.com or some sort of a RAG system where you've got this vector database where the AI has to go in there to pull out information. And then you've got to give it a really nice prompt to help make it sound more like you and more human because it doesn't have that like underlying OpenAI prompt that they give ChatGPT. Can be done. I also teach that inside Futureproof, but it is a bit more technical. So today, what I want to tell you is that you don't have to do that anymore. Like it has never been easier to take, let's say, a course. And I know many of you watching have courses that you created in the past. I have a course. I made $1 million with one freaking course until the model started to shift. People's attention span started to get like to that of a friggin' gnat. And nobody wants to sit and watch a bunch of videos anymore, right? And a lot of other reasons. But in any case, the content itself is still extremely relevant. Because my old course in Energetic Alignment Academy, my old course was called Monetize Your Medicine. And it was designed to help people really like launch a business, get clear on who they want to serve, get clear on creating a really irresistible offer like the one that we created that made me $1 million, and figure out how to drive traffic to that offer, nurture people, have them trust you enough and feel the connection and attract the right customers to buy. That is what it taught. Still very relevant today, but the way that we deliver that information is changing. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. I'm going to show you really quick just something I'm working on. It's not finished. I literally just started it this morning, but I want you to see how easy it is now to take things like your courses and AI-ify them to make them a much better experience for your clients, because instead of like the old way of having to have an attention span to sit and watch videos and then maybe do some worksheets, that's passive learning. And then they got to wait and for the live call for the support or whatever to actually go deeper with that or implement it or whatever that is, right? That's the old way. Not anymore. We don't have to do it that way. So let's go take a look. First, I'm going to show you the old way, like what my course looks like. It's still, I shut down my old website. I still have people asking me for it all the time because I sold it as a lifetime course. So I have to keep housing it somewhere. So I brought it over to my other website. And so I know it's still relevant. People still to this day, 5 years later, hit me up for this information. Maybe it's 4 years later. Yeah, 4 years later, hit me up for this information. They're like, I wanted to go revisit this module, or I'm looking for this worksheet. So if they go to the course today, they're going to see it's in Kajabi, right? So it doesn't look fancy. I didn't do much to it. I just brought it over. So at least it's still housed and they can access it. But you can still see 24-minute video here, right? So we do have transcripts in some of the modules, but still 24 minutes of video. The next one on limiting beliefs is 16 minutes of video. I've got the results calculators, another 22 minutes of video. The miracle morning is another 22 minutes. And we've got worksheets and things like that. Who wants to go watch all that anymore? The completion rates, I'm sure that you've noticed, are getting a lot less than they used to be, right? So what I've done is, instead of doing that, like if I go to the modules, the first one I did was milestone 2. I haven't built out milestone 1 yet, but who you serve and the problem you solve. So again, you can go watch all these videos, or you can go to what I'm working on right now. And you have to log in to get this. This is what's so beautiful. Like I said, I've got trainings that teach you how to build the N8N workflow and use something like Lovable to vibe code the user interface. But today you don't even have to do that. Lovable built this whole thing because Lovable now has Supabase innately inside of it, like natively inside of it. So that can be your database. You can use any AI LLM model that you want. So really, you don't have to go outside of it for something like this anymore. It's just not necessary. So the design here, these are, I just created the design in Canva, uploaded it, easy enough. I will say that I used Claude to help me build the prompt to give Lovable. And so if I go over here to, let's see, I've got the Claude over here. Where'd it go? So I use Claude Cowork. And by the way, if you don't use Claude, you need to be using Claude. Claude is amazingly smart. It builds artifacts inside. It can build you assets. It just does a lot of things better than ChatGPT. So in any case, if you do have a MacBook, Claude now has Cowork on the MacBook desktop only. It's not going to work in your browser. You got to get the desktop app for it. And if you don't have Cowork, you can still do this in the regular chat. I just like to use Cowork. In any case, I basically just said, hey, I'd like to build an AI suite of tools like interactive chatbots, literally this much. I just explained like what my idea was here, right? And so I'm not going to go through all of this. We went through a lot together. But what I want to show you is over here on the right. Look at what it pulled by itself to start looking through my skills. So I have another video, I'll link to it down below on what Claude skills are, but I use skills all the time. So skills are something that you can create, upload to Claude, and then Claude can tap into those anytime it needs to. And it knows what to grab because it's got a meta little description at the top of each one. So it doesn't use up all your tokens, but it can figure out what to grab. So I created this AI product thinking coach skill to help Claude ask me the right questions to guide me like I'm building a product and not just brainstorming and outsourcing my brain. Like it really makes me think of the hard questions, like what would make this an utter failure? Like what exactly does the outcome need to look like? And so when it uses the skill, I can create a much better prompt. It also used the artifact builder and the front end designer skill and my branding. Like it tapped into all of that to help me create the prompt for this. So in any case, let's go back over here. So I've only done module 2. So let's click on this and see what we've got. Like I said, I didn't use the videos here, but you could. Like if I wanted to link to the video or the videos for this module, because maybe people do want to go deeper, I could absolutely link to those, but it's just not necessary. And even if you did link it, I bet a very small percentage would actually watch it because people just want to get to work. I'm going to open up the chat. And this, it's remembered one that I just did, but let's just go new chat. And so if it's a new chat or you can refresh it whenever you want, let's get specific because specificity is a love language. Tell me who lights you up to work with, not who you could help, but who you love helping, and paint me a picture of that person. So let's just put something in here. I would love to work with women over 50 who are struggling with their hormones, weight gain, night sweats, low energy, and brain fog, and help them start to feel more energetic, back on track, strong, and really thrive in midlife. That's not really who I help right now. That's actually just defining myself. But let's hit okay and see what we come up with. So what this should do, I love this energy. You've identified a very real painful season of life that many women feel completely abandoned in. Okay, but let's get real for a second. Hormones and weight gain is what they talk to their doctor about. I want to know what they're crying about to their best friend at 2 a.m. when they can't sleep. So to make your message feel like you're reading their diary, we need to go deeper. So specificity is kindness. Think about one specific woman you've helped or want to help. Let's dive into these questions. The emotional truth, the cost of the problem, the identity shift. So what I'm saying is this is all trained on everything in that course, the transcripts of me actually speaking. And it's also got a really good prompt that's guided to push back gently when needed to challenge the user on things, to really help them get a great result, but also to give them kudos when they figure something out and they make progress, right? Because I think we need that too. So you can see we can go back and forth with here so they can really chat with the content and feel more supportive. It's like an extension of me when I'm not in the room. So that's one way they can work with it. And then the other one is like do the work. So I could have more than one worksheet here if we've got more than one, but for this demonstration here, I've got the complete, the niche validation worksheet. So if we go into this, it's going to tell us to just complete each step, and it's going to ask us a question. We'll just do one here together. So it asked me the first one already. I help burnout corporate women over 40 reclaim their energy, lose weight sustainably by balancing the hormones through personalized nutritious coaching. Okay, and so it said that's a strong start. You clearly identified, but what specific pain points or frustration? So it's always going to ask me to go a little bit deeper. And then once we're happy with that, we can continue. So I'm going to say, let's see, what specific pain points? They feel like they're never going to feel fit again, like they need to buy a new wardrobe. No matter what they do, the weight just continues to come on and doesn't come off. And they feel exhausted and like worried that, are they going to be able to even function at work because they're going on 3 hours of sleep? So I'll hit refine and continue. Okay, so now we're on step 2, identify your. So anyway, it's going to just guide me through and give me feedback and help me get really deep in this. And then if we were to go all the way to the end, you can see here, I've asked it to give the user a PDF download or allow them to copy it. So after completing the worksheet, users can generate a beautiful summary of their ideal client niche statement, key messaging points, copy or download as a PDF. So I just wanted to give you an example of what it looks like to AIify your current offers because they're still relevant. It's not like the information is no longer good. It's just it needs to be delivered in a way that gives your clients an opportunity to actually consume it and execute. And I think that's the big key word is execute. So I did this again without using N8N, literally all inside Lovable. So there is nothing stopping you from figuring out how you can take what you've already built and make it more relevant for the modern age. And in 2026, this is all going to be about, I think, AI product thinking and less about, hey, I use ChatGPT as a brainstorm partner and, to create my content and things like that. Now, we're in the phase where we're building AI tools and AI just keeps getting smarter and smarter and smarter. And it just makes it so easy that we just have no excuse to not set aside time to do this. I want to show you the back end of this really quick because I forgot to do that. So if I go into Lovable here, and I'm looking at the back end, which is this little cloud, I just want you to see, how this works inside. So you can see we've got the database, which has got conversations and profiles and messages and worksheet responses. And this is going to store that data in there for your clients, or, in my case, my clients. The AI, that's what I want to show you. The AI that I'm using right now is Gemini 2.5 Flash, super duper cheap. And it's doing a great job for what I would need it for. Now, if you wanted to use a different model, if you wanted to use Sonnet 4.5, or let's say you need to do really complicated things, then you might want even Opus 4.6, which just came out recently with Claude, then you can totally update the model to whichever model you need. You're just going to have to offer your API key. So in any case, I just wanted to show you how simple this is to build for yourself. I can't wait to see, let me know in the chat if you have built a tool or if you are building a tool. And if you want support in building your tools, come join us inside Futureproof because that's what it's all about. Futureproof, the Evolution Lab, is about evolution. It's not a static course. It is a living, breathing, evolving container because anything that we learn today could very well be irrelevant 30 days from now at the pace that AI is moving. So I'll see you in the next video.